Hi everyone, you're very welcome to our sixth and unfortunately final episode of the Minecraft series. My name is Neve and today I'm joined by Kaylin.
Hi guys.
And we also have the rest of our DreamSpace team working in the background to help out. You can also pop this webinar on pause at any point, so feel free to pause the webinar if you need to do so at any point. Okay, so today's theme is based all around space. So there are 8 planets in our solar system, and Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. And all our planets revolve around the sun. They all move around the sun. So that's enough fun facts about space for now. I'm going to pass over to Kaylin, and Kaylin is going to get started on our coding.
Okay, thanks, Neve. So we're going to just jump into Minecraft now to quickly go over what we did last week. So last week we were focusing on the theme of Egypt. And we built some exciting things. We learned all about the pyramids, we learned about sandstorms, and we learned about the Nile, the River Nile, and we built out the river. So we have all of our beautiful pyramids here. You can see that we have one over there. And we did that by getting our agent to build one square on top of each other. So let's quickly jump into our code builder and have a look at the code that we used last week to build those pyramids. So do let us know if you did anything creative with that code. Did you change each layer to be a different color? Did you make it taller? So what did you do? You could also add in a door maybe to make it so that you could go inside of the pyramid. Okay, so let's have a look at our code. So for our pyramid code, we told our agent to place blocks every time that they moved and then to change the active slot whenever they moved up to build the smaller square. So let's have a bit of fun with this and build another pyramid over here, but let's use some different materials. So I'm going to do T to talk, get my agent to come over to me. Okay, so now our agent has come over to us. Let's give them some fun material. So we had sandstone and we had chiseled red sandstone, but let's look in our inventory and build our pyramid out of something different. Why don't we build it out of glowstone and redstone? Okay. So we need to put one of them in the first and then one of them in the second active slot. Okay, so now I'm going to fly up to the sky, do T to talk, and type in pyramid. Okay, and there we have our funky looking pyramid there. And we have the Nile over here, which we've already gone over last week, and all of our other attempted pyramids in the background. Okay, but let's move on to today. So today we're focusing on space. And if you saw online, you would see that we recommended that you went onto the Minecraft website into the lessons for the solar system and you downloaded the assets there. So I'm going to click out of Minecraft now and I'm going to click into the file that I have already downloaded. So I went onto the link that was available online and I downloaded the assets. Now I'm going to open that up and I'm going to click into the solar system and see down here I have solar system template and that is what I'm going to click into. Okay, and now that's going to create an entire world for us with the sun already built, because like Neve said, the sun is the center of the solar system. So this isn't just a biome where we are in space. It actually already has things built for us already. So we're going to go into this world and then we're going to find our sun before building out the rest of our planets. Okay, so we've fallen down in our world, but you can see that it's actually quite dark here, but that's okay because we're meant to be in outer space. But our sun, which you can see, you might have seen there when we were falling, is somewhere up there in the clouds. So we need to go to a specific set of world coordinates. So I'm going to go into C for code and open up our code builder. Okay, and now I'm going to open up a new project and I'm going to name it space. Okay, and we've spoken about this before, that we are the player in the game. So we want to go somewhere else. We want to be teleported somewhere else, not our agent. So I went into player and I'm going to bring out this teleport to block. And I'm just going to change it to go. Okay. So now we're going to go into positions. Now, if you remember, we have two different types of coordinates. We have the coordinates here, which are relative coordinates, and they are relative to us as the player. So 0, 0, 0 is where we are in the world. 0, 10, 0 is 10 blocks above me, and so on. So I actually want to go somewhere in the world, so the world position. So then I'm going to bring out, I went into positions there, and I'm going to bring out this world coordinate block, and I'm going to slot it in there. Now the coordinates that I want to go to are 3, 188, 5, 0. Okay, so I want to go to the world 3, 188, and 50. They are the coordinates that I want to go to because that is where my sun is. Okay, so if you want to pause the webinar now to make sure that you can get those coordinates, write them down, or teleport yourself to them now so that you are in the correct position. Okay, so now I'm going to do T to talk, and I'm going to type in go. Okay, and now we can immediately see our sun is there, and I started falling, which means that I had to hit double space to fly back up again, because I started falling immediately when I was teleported up into the sky. But this is our sun. So our sun has already been built for us because it's the center of our entire solar system. So this sun is made from glowstone, which we have met in our previous webinars and earlier on today as well when we were creating that pyramid. And it is a stone that glows. So that is why it was used as the sun, because the sun is obviously a star that radiates heat and light. So the radius, if you want to take this down as well, the radius of this sun is 25 blocks. Now, what does the radius mean? Some of you might already know this from maths. Some of you mightn't know it. The radius is the point, it's in the middle of your circle or your sphere here, the middle of your sphere to the outside. Okay, and the diameter is the entire length across. So if I were to look at this straight on here, I'd be able to see that from that middle block there, if you're able to see that one block that's pointing out, that is the middle point. From there, the whole way out to the outside, that's 25 blocks. But from this corner, the whole way over to this block over here, that is 25 plus 25, which is 50 blocks. So this sun has a diameter of 50 blocks. So it is really, really big, just like the sun is in real life. It is enormous. Okay. So you should take that down, write that down, because that is really important for your home challenge that you'll be doing later on. Okay, so I now want to build the Earth. I want to be able to build the Earth in our solar system. So I'm going to go into C for Code Builder, and I'm going to think about this. Okay, I'm not going to build these to size, correct to size, because I want you guys at home to work on that, and that's going to be your challenge. Your challenge, which Neve is going to explain later, is to build out the rest of the planets in the solar system, taking their sizes into account. But we're not going to do that. I'm just going to show you how to make the world. So we want to make a sphere. We could do this by getting our agent to walk around in loads and loads of circles, and that would take a long, long, long time. Or we could go down and click on advanced down here, and there's an option for shapes. And if you click into that option, you'll see that there is options to create a line, a circle, or a sphere. So planets are in the shape of a sphere, so we're going to be using that block. So I'm going to bring that block out to our canvas here, our workspace. Okay, and I'm going to bring out a chat command to put that block into. Okay, and I'm going to name this chat command Earth, because that is the planet that I want to create. Okay, and we need to choose what material we want to build our Earth out of. So I know that the Earth is made up of 70% of water. So the majority of the Earth is actually made up of water. So I'm going to choose water as the base for my planet Earth. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow here. Okay, and now I need to decide where I want it to be in the world. So do I want it to be where I am as a player, or do I want it to be closer to the sun? So I think what I might do is I might do a test run of the planet Earth closer to the ground. And then when I'm happy with it, I can bring it back up and closer to the sun. So the next thing I have to do is put in the radius. So I know that the radius of the sun is 25. And I know that the Earth is significantly smaller than the sun is. So I'm actually going to keep it at 5 and see how that looks. Now I see that there's a drop-down menu here. Okay, and it gives us the option to replace blocks. So what that would do is it would just delete the blocks that are there for the sphere. So if you wanted to create a sphere in the ground, that's what you could do. Hollow or an outline. So we don't want just the outline of the sphere. We want a sphere, but we don't necessarily need it to be filled with blocks, because I think that would take our code a long time to build. So I'm going to say hollow. Okay, and now we're ready to test our code. So I'm going to move down closer to the Earth and away from our sun, just so that we're not ruining our gorgeous picture up there, which we'll be able to work on later. Okay, so I'm closer now to the ground, but I know that I'd be able to just go straight up to get to our sun. I'm going to go for T to talk, and I'm going to type in Earth. Build my planet Earth. Okay, and there we can see that our, okay, right. Our agent has come to look at what's happening here. So our sphere is being built, but okay, I know. We used running water as the main part of our planet. So it's just creating a waterfall that's coming from very high up. So we need to act quickly here. We know that we can use sponge to save the day. So let's grab some natural sponge here and see if we can save our planet Earth. Okay, so we're not able to place sponge on nothing, so we're going to have to see if we can place it down on the ground. See if we can salvage our Earth. I don't think this is going to be possible. I think we might need to start all over again. Don't think we have enough sponge in the world to save our world here. Okay, so we might have to use materials that look like water and earth instead of actually using water and earth. So it's a good thing that we did this down here and not up beside our actual sun. So let's go into T to talk and go back up to our sun here. Okay, and let's change the material on our Earth. So we don't want to use water, but let's see what other options we have. Okay, we have wool, and we have a load of different colors of wool. So why don't we use blue wool and then add in pieces of green, or green wool and add in pieces of blue? So let's do blue wool, okay? And we're going to test this out beside our sun. So I'm going to duplicate the block of code that I have the coordinates in for my sun. And I'm going to move 20 blocks away. Okay, so I'm going to go 23, 188.50 and see where that brings us. Okay, so now I'm going to do T to talk and see what happens when I type in Earth now. Okay, so I can see my Earth is being built over here. Okay, and there's our little Earth, our little blue Earth. Let's grab some green wool from our inventory and add in some countries to our world. So I'm going to just replace some blocks on our Earth to make it look a little bit more like our home planet. Okay, so you can see that I've started adding some islands to my Earth, but of course I'd need to add a lot more to make it look a little bit more realistic, but that's okay. And I've made that out of wool, so it looks like water and earth, but I know that it's stable there and it's not going to fall and cause a huge big waterfall in the middle of space. Okay, so now we have Earth and they look very cool together, our sun and our Earth here. Let's create one more planet before we get you started on our home challenge. So we know that our smallest planet is Mercury, but I think when we're creating that, it's going to be so small that you all at home are going to find that one quite easy. We know that our biggest planet is Jupiter. And Jupiter is a very, very big planet and it has loads of moons and it's a very exciting planet. But the second biggest planet is Saturn. And I want you to pause now, do some research on Saturn, and try and figure out why I am very excited to build Saturn. So, Saturn has a ring around it. Around the planet, it has a ring. So, if you look up even a cartoon image of Saturn, you can see that when it's ever drawn, they have a ring that runs around it. So, we're going to try and recreate that today. So we have our chat command for Earth, which is brilliant. Now we're going to get a new chat command and we're going to go for Saturn. Now, also when you look up online, you'll see that the main colors that are used to represent Saturn are reds and oranges. So I am going to get another one of these spheres. Okay, and I am going to use orange. I'll use orange wool for the actual planet, and then I'll use red wool after. So while we're building this, I want you to be thinking in the back of your mind, how do you think we could get that ring around Saturn? Okay, so I want to move it away from Earth and away from the sun. So I'm going to change this 50 to 80. Okay, maybe I'll move this 23 to 30 as well. So it's a little bit away. Okay. And now I need to have a think about the size. So I can see that Earth is quite tiny there to the sun. Whereas, as I said, we know that Saturn is the second largest. So instead of doing a radius of 5, I'm going to do a radius of 15. Okay. And that might be too big, but it's your job for the home challenge to work out what the radius needs to be to make sure that they are the correct size to real life. Okay, I'm going to do T to talk, and I'm going to go with Saturn. Okay, so it's being built over here. Let's watch it being built. Okay, and now we have Saturn. So this is our beautiful planet Saturn right next to Earth. And I hope you guys at home were, while that was building, you were thinking about how we could add in the ring around Saturn. So I'm going to go C for Code Builder. Okay, and what exactly is that ring? Well, if you were drawing it on a piece of paper, and when everyone to just draw it now on a piece of paper, if you were drawing Saturn, you'd draw a circle, and then to draw the ring, you just draw another circle around it, wouldn't you? So why don't we try that? Go into Advanced, go into Shapes, and this time, instead of doing a sphere, we're going to get our code to build a circle. Okay? So now we're going to do this in a different chat command, and we're going to call it ring. Okay, and we want this ring to go around the planet that already exists. So we need to use the same coordinates, but make the radius a bit bigger. Okay, so that the circle is a bit bigger. So instead of doing 15, I'm going to do 20. Okay, and for my circle, I said I wanted to use red. So let's look up red and use our red wool. And then I'm going to click outline because we just want the outline of the circle really. And let's test out that code. Hopefully it doesn't bump into Earth, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so T to talk and type in ring. And I think we're safe. It doesn't look as if it's going to crash into Earth. Very close, but don't think so. Okay, and there is Saturn. So now we have Saturn with its ring around it. We have Earth and we have our sun. So the last thing that I want to show you today is how you can take photos in Minecraft, because once you're done this amazing project that's going to take you a while to do, I want you to be able to store this. So when you open up this world, you'll see that you have a camera and you have a portfolio. So if I take out my camera and I'm going to go over to Saturn because I want to just get Saturn in this picture. Okay, it's okay if I get a little bit of Earth. And I right click, it takes a picture. Okay, I'm going to get a good picture of Saturn. I like that one. Now I'm going to get a picture of Earth. Okay, and it's okay if we've Saturn in the background of this one. Right click. And now I'm going to get one of all three of my builds here in the sky. Okay, so there's my three pictures. Now I'm going to scroll to the portfolio and right click. And when I go in here, I'm able to flick through all the images that I took. And if I didn't like one, so I don't really like this one on the right because it's too close up, I can hit the delete button and it gets rid of it. I'm also able to click into caption, type in Saturn. I'm able to go back, type in Earth, and I can type in solar system. Hopefully, when Neve tells you the home challenge in a few minutes, when you complete that, you'll be able to take pictures of all of the planets in the solar system and a picture of all of them together. So that's all of the code we have time for today. I'm going to pass you on over to Neve.
Thanks very much, Kaylin. So we got loads covered today in our final Minecraft episode. We learned all about how to build a sun using code. We also learned how to create a sphere using code. And we learned how to build out our solar system. So well done, everybody. So this week for our final home challenge, we want you to research out the rest of the planets. So research about the rest of the planets in our solar system. And then we want you to build all of the rest of the planets out using code and build them out to scale. So depending on if they're the largest, if they're one of the smaller planets, or if they're the smallest, build them to scale using code. So have great fun doing that.
Thank you so much for joining us this week, coders, and thank you for joining us for this entire journey. We have loved every second of creating this series, and I know I really have enjoyed doing all of the research that I did for the last 3 weeks. So I hope you do as well. You should really consider yourself coders at the moment because you have done some amazing work and some difficult coding. So you should feel very, very proud of yourself. Just remember that, as always, you can check out the Wakelet, which is on the screen at the moment, to see all of the other cool home challenges that we have available for you and all of the other series that we have done. So thank you so much for joining us in Minecraft, and bye.
Bye.